Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to CI Chit Chat. Mitchell Hora here with you. Thanks for hopping on here today and happy Veterans Day, especially for folks who did serve. Thank you. And um, yeah, wanted to get started off with that. Let me do that. Um, if you're new to the CI Chit Chat, we're talking about CI, which is carbon intensity, essentially the carbon footprint per bushel, which ties into the carbon footprint of whatever your corn soybean is going to be turned into. In the case here, we're talking about biofuels. I'm talking about it because of the 45Z tax credit, which is for low carbon transportation biofuel. For the last multiple weeks, we've been talking about, well, not anything really going on because government shut down. Well, as I assume basically everybody knows, looks like we are going to have an open government here within the next, sounds like probably 2 days or so. But things are happening. So finally got to, somewhat of an agreement, whatever, in the Senate on Sunday. And then they had the vote late last night that passed through the Senate, the official vote to get things back opened up. But because they changed what the House had put together, now the bill has to go back to the House to get approved before it can go and be signed in by Trump. So, and I mean, they had a couple different components and stuff that are, particulars that got adjusted, including like the full remainder of the fiscal year spending package for Department of Ag. My understanding, though, is it's only the SNAP component of the Department of Ag stuff, not necessarily conservation funding and whatnot. If anybody knows different, feel free to correct me. But my understanding is, expanded the funding and whatnot, not just through January, like the rest of the continuing resolution does, but they extended SNAP funding through September, military funding, legislative funding, those kind of things. So they, I suppose part of it is they know that we could be right back in the same situation come late January. I think originally the spending package was only supposed to go through like November 20th or something like that. So, in another week or whatever, we'd be just right back in a potential shutdown again. So they got rid of that date, funded things through January, and then a couple of these provisions funded through September through the government's fiscal year. So that's good. Some progress being made and things happening. So we'll see what happens. My understanding is that there's on the House side of things, they got to like, I think they have to um, they have to do some type of a rule procedure to allow for like an expedited vote and then get everybody brought back into town and get the vote done as soon as they can. So hopefully by late tomorrow or so, but I'm not exactly sure. So we'll see. But at least things are happening. So the main issue, and why we've been just held up with the government being shut down is, remember, 45Z was passed and extended into law with the extended into law with the Big Beautiful Bill, and so the legislature passed the law. Then the executive branch has to go and implement and interpret implement the law, especially through, in this case, the IRS. So Department of Treasury, Department of Ag is involved, Department of Energy is involved, but these are all different departments under the executive branch, right? So with government being shut down, all of those different components of the executive branch and government, they've been shut down as well. We know that there are some folks in DC that are part of like the essential workers and whatnot, and so I know that there's been, not everybody is out of a job, that's for sure. But I know that a lot of the folks that would have been working on 45Z would be, not working for the last 40 some days. So now we'll get that back up and going. Hopefully get things sorted out at the airports and whatnot before all of the Thanksgiving travel, and things will carry on. So um, what I'm gonna do, so we'll get the government open back up here in the next day or two or whatever. I plan on, letting our folks at USDA and IRS and whatnot, let them kind of get back into the office, get settled back in a little bit, and start pinging them on any insights about timing. Are things way delayed? Are we still going to be able to get some 45Z updates? What's going to happen? So Before the shutdown, I was speculating that we could maybe see some 45Z updates coming from the USDA, maybe between that Halloween and Thanksgiving timeframe. Obviously, I think now that's not realistic, but hopefully by the end of the year. But I'm completely speculating. It's hard to tell exactly, but I know that they were close to getting stuff um, out and done from at least from the USDA's side of things, and that would include the updated feedstock calculator. It's an updated model to be able to calculate the CI scores of our corn, soybeans, and other feedstocks going into biofuel. And they were going to be updating their MRV protocol, basically the rules for how we can measure, report, and verify that CI data coming off the farm. So it's really the key things that Continuum needs to be able to work with the farmers and be able to move progress forward here. So hopefully we get that across the finish line relatively soon, and we can at least be moving forward with helping the farmers, helping the ethanol plants to start pulling together the data to make all this go. Now, obviously, we're still even after USDA does their stuff, we'll still be waiting for Department of Treasury to finalize their things. So keep in mind, there's not necessarily going to be like all the floodgates open and all this money moving around and whatnot, because even if USDA puts out their stuff, we know that it's the intent of Treasury to utilize that language and to integrate this USDA protocol and whatnot. But until that is set in stone, everyone's just still got to kind of be a little bit cautious. So, but at least when we get an updated CI calculator, an updated protocol, we can at least be moving forward with the basics of farmer data collection, because we'll know exactly what practices need to be accounted for. We'll know exactly what type of CI benefit you can get. Hopefully, we'll get some clarity on the mass balance versus book and claim debacle, and be able to know how to go about this and at least make some progress and try to get the ball rolling, because tax filing is going to come real quick. So I'm still confident that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity out there, but it's just an even more condensed time frame than what we were anticipating. Every day here just keeps getting more and more condensed, more and more work to do in fewer and fewer days. But we're up for it. Obviously, we've been working on this for more than 3 years to be ready for this time to come, and I'm still very confident that it's going to happen. So exciting stuff. Um, but we'll see. Hopefully, in the coming weeks, we get some of that USDA update, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. But yeah, ethanol plants, we need to be looking at how we're going to collect this data. At least start, again, locking down, getting the ducks in a row, getting software processes locked down. We've been doing a bunch of work on that and ready to help you out. And then farmers, it's just getting all those records in from your 2025 crop for certain, getting all that cleaned up, put into the system, especially now as work out on the farm slows down for the winter. Now it's time to get all that data pulled together and be ready to get it audited and hopefully turn it into something valuable here. So, but clarity's coming. So finally making some progress here. So, and if it gets delayed further, hopefully we figure that out as soon as possible as well. Um, Need some clarity here. So the good thing is the legislators already sent a letter to the Department of Treasury. That would have been like 2 weeks ago now already. Might have been early last week, either early last week or the week before. A group of legislators sent a letter to the Department of Treasury saying, get 45Z done, get this expedited, get it done quickly. Farmers and biofuels, they need some clarity here. So that's good to see, that there's a lot of folks in DC that are pushing for this and pushing to get it done. So hopefully we can continue to beat that drum with them and get this thing across the finish line. But in the meantime, so we are still really pushing forward on our Topsoil Connect program, $3 an acre, just keeping it simple, trying to get farmers connected with as many different opportunities as possible. The main one being research and development tax credits. It's still continuing to work really, really good. It's something that is going to be a nice little program for our farm and tremendous, almost all of the farmers that we have been able to refer over to our R&D partners, they're all seeing good success at moving this forward. It's just taking advantage of existing tax code. It's not specific for farmers, so even if you're involved in other businesses, you should absolutely be looking at research and development tax credits. It's a really, really slick opportunity. So that's just something else that if you are getting your cover crops on this fall, if you're experimenting with some type of a new biological or stabilizer or whatever, because you want to be in the best position that you can for 45Z, using R&D credits may be an additional lever that you can pull on to de-risk the financial side of all this and put yourself in position to try to put as much dollars back in your pocket as you can and lower your taxes, but from both a state and federal level for a lot of states. So that's a cool deal. Most of the Midwest, it's not just the federal tax credits that you can get for R&D, but also state level tax credits. So it's a pretty sweet deal. Being able to uh, offset some of your local taxes and federal taxes. So absolutely something to look at. We do have a webinar coming up with our buddy Paul Neefer, the farm CPA. Having him back on, he's been just a tremendous wealth of knowledge every time that we've brought him on. And Paul is going to come back on to talk about R&D credits and other programs as we're doing tax prep for the end of the year on the farm. So absolutely be looking for that. Diana, thanks for getting stuff in the chat. We did build a free calculator where you can just run some estimates and whatnot of what 45 or what the R&D credits may mean for you. All right, so a free tool. You can click on the link in the chat, or go to continuum.ag/calculator. We have this free R&D calculator that you can download and just play around with the numbers a little bit. Our people are happy to hop on a call or Zoom or something with you as well and walk through it. And really, you can experiment with, are these R&D credits going to be something that's viable? If it looks good, then we can get you connected with the CPA firm that we're working with that can help run the numbers for real and help you through the process. So, and like I said, Paul Neefer, November 19th. Thank you, Diana. He's going to be talking about a lot of the year-end planning stuff. So R&D credits, but just other tax prep kind of items and how do we need to be thinking about all this stuff come to the end of the year. So excited to have Paul back on. That'll be next week, November 19th. You can get registered there in the chat. And then tomorrow, we've got a webinar going on with my buddy Johnny Clemmy. He is out of Indiana. He's a farm broker and just kind of a farm transition like planner, kind of a consultant to help family farms that are passing down farmland or people looking at buying or selling farmland and whatnot. He wrote this book right here, American Family Farmland, Preserving Values and Creating Wealth. He sent me a copy of it. He and I have been buddies for a long time. We've done a variety of different social media things together and whatnot. I read the book. I thought it was really good. And I'm like, Johnny, why don't we get you on the podcast and talk about it? Because I think more farmers should know about the info that he's got in here. And for the first 100 people that registered, they got a free copy of the book. I don't know. You had to opt in to do that. And I know we're well over 100 people registered, so I don't know if there are more copies available or not. But I know you can get it on Amazon. It's cheap to be able to get it on Amazon. Or if you ask really, really nice, I bet Johnny will still send you a free copy. But um, he wants to just, obviously it's a sales tool for him, a lead generator for his business, but a really, really good resource, I think, for family farms that are looking at passing down farmland to the next generation, or a young person like me, looking at in the future being able to inherit and take on the legacy of a family farm. So really good stuff. So Johnny's webinar is tomorrow. Paul's webinar is next week. Be sure to hop on those. Should be really, really good stuff. And just again, trying to continue to drive the mission of Continuum Ag, which is to help 1 million family farms improve their profitability via improving their soil health. 45Z is a way to be able to do that and drive profitability, drive the adoption of soil health practices, R&D credits, other cost share programs. But even just making sure that family farms are smart from a tax prep, a legacy prep, a farmland transition process. These things are all still aligned with our mission to drive family farm profitability through improving soil health. So that's why we do these things, right? It's we got to not just be focused only on one thing, really just trying to help as many people as we can. And these are all, again, all resources, all tools that are valuable to my farm. I think they can be valuable to yours and to your network as well. So all that important stuff. So other than that, I think I going forward here. All right, so we'll do this webinar here tomorrow, and then next week, probably not have a CI Chit Chat next week with the webinar. And my wife and I are going to be having our third kid like anytime, so I'm kind of on call here right now. So we'll see how that continues to shape up. And but if there are any major breaking things coming out of DC, obviously we'll do what we've done in the past, kind of an emergency press conference, get everybody the info as fast as we can. So that way you're as up to date as we can possibly have this. So anyway, I think that is all I've got for today. I'll keep this brief again. Join us tomorrow on the webinar. Join next week on the webinar. We'll keep you all posted, but be safe if you're still out doing farm work, and we will keep you posted and see you next time. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.